This week we watched a movie called Uncertainty. Now, I had heard some not too positive things about this movie beforehand. There weren't very many good reviews that I read of the movie, so I tried to not go into the movie with this bias that it was going to be bad, but I don't know if that actually happened. Something that I think a lot of movies try to do, especially when they have a movie that takes place in a major city like New York, they try and incorporate it as another character in the movie, which can kind of get old. Most of us know what New York is like, even if we haven't been here. We know that there are cabs and we know that there are trains and it's busy and there are tons of different kind of cultures here. So I don't really think that, unless it's completely necessary to the plot, that filmmakers or writers or directors kind of make this such a big deal in a movie. I think it kind of takes away from the plot. So I liked that this movie didn't make New York this main character. It kind of just acted as a backdrop for the story. I personally think that this story could have basically taken place anywhere, but since it did take place in New York, I thought it was interesting that it didn't force New York upon you as like this thing that we always had to keep in the back of our minds. It was just kind of a setting. Now, there are certain things about the movie that I didn't like. First off, I didn't really like how obvious the color scheme was. I understood that it was supposed to separate the stories, which I think was a good way of doing it. Like, sometimes with stories that have multiple plots, it can get really confusing as to like when is what happening and what story, and that can get confusing. And I did like the incorporation of the colors. I thought it was interesting, like green and yellow. I liked that. But I didn't understand the point of having the green and the yellow title cards in the beginning of the movie. I mean, for me at least, I could tell the difference between the abundant greens and the abundant yellows in each story. So I don't think there was a necessity of pointing it out with like green, yellow. I didn't really see the point in that. Also, with another scene from the beginning where they're flipping a coin on the bridge, I was really waiting the entire movie for that scene to kind of come back and like have some kind of explanation to it, but there wasn't really one. I had to like think about it for a while. Maybe it just wasn't I was oblivious to it, but I had to think about it for a while as to what that scene meant and what they were trying to show us. I assumed that the scene was supposed to be showing us that they're kind of two indecisive people that have to make a really big decision about this baby, whether or not to have it or, I guess, like, get rid of it. Flipping a coin, I guess, is like a way of making a decision, but I didn't really know what decision they were making at the beginning. I guess they made a decision about what to do for the day, but it wasn't clear to me, and I didn't really understand the point of them running away from each other. Like, if they were trying to decide, like, should we have Chinese food or Mexican food, and they decide on whatever, why run away from each other? That was just really unclear, and I was just sitting there like, huh? The director mentioned in the Q&A session that they did a lot of improvised rehearsals before the movie was made. I really like this because I feel like it builds the relationship between the two main characters, and it seems valid, and it's believable that they're in a relationship together, and I think this is really important in, showing and displaying two characters in a movie and have them being believable. Overall, I don't think I'd recommend this movie to anyone, nor would I watch it again. There were too many things that I didn't enjoy and couldn't move past and try and enjoy the movie at all. And unfortunately, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's pretty face didn't make up for this.